Welcome to the Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast, starring Q the Boss.
Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. They call me Q the Boss. It's going down today. I'm about to have some fun. I'm trolling a little bit today. Today's episode is, can you do better by yourself? Can you do better by yourself? I hear a lot of people thinking they can do better by themselves, and they ain't doing better by them damn selves. Let me say that again. For those who understand, it takes two. I'm going to start off by giving you your flowers. But I meet people that tell me they can do better by themselves, or they're doing better by themselves, and they're actually not. And then you look at their lives. When you say this, and I want y'all to hear this on my live today, when you say you're doing better by yourself, make sure you're doing better. There are people who've given themselves something called, it's like a coping mechanism to their situation. They tell themselves that they're actually doing better than what they're actually doing, but in reality, they're not doing that good. But in order for them to feel like they're doing good, they got to tell you that they're doing better than what they're doing, but in reality, they're not doing that good. That went over somebody's head, didn't it? That definitely went over somebody's head. Look at that. In order for you to feel better about the situation you're in, you got to tell yourself that you're in a better situation than you're actually in. So what happens is you start telling yourself that you're in a better situation than you actually are, ultimately staying in a bad positioning. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to understand as adults, we can't be high school dating in our adult years. We can't be middle school dating in our adult years. We can't be college dating in our adult years. We can't be playing with our time. You know the scariest thing is when you see people in old folks' homes alone, not thinking they'll ever be that person that's alone. See, again, when you don't understand the value of unity, then you will always think as an individual. And naturally, people that think selfish never get to a higher level. And it's sad because people ask me, can you do better by yourself? And I want to ask y'all this question on my live today. Do you think you can do better by yourself? And when people say it, I want to hear the cap, right? Because again, in order for you to feel better about a situation, you ever met somebody that's single and they'll tell you they don't need somebody because they're single? Because they ain't got nobody, so they'll tell you they don't mind being alone. People that say they don't mind dying alone is people that feel like they're going to die alone. So in order for them to feel comfortable dying alone, they got to tell themselves they're going to die alone. And that's what we do. We create coping mechanisms to our situation. There was a woman one time that told me I don't need a man. And I said, that's why you keep getting boys. There was a man that told me he don't need a woman. But that's why you keep getting girls. Think about that narrative. How many times you hear people say they don't need something, but they don't realize what they actually need? We go after what we want to the point where we push away what we need. You need someone that's going to stand with you regardless. You need someone that's going to love you no matter what. You need someone that is comfortable being there with you. You need someone that loves you for you. Today, I had a conversation with a couple, and I asked them what was love. They couldn't even answer it. The Bible stance of love and what humans think is love is not the same thing. Most people have a delusional mind on what love is. Their idea of love is what they've seen in the movies. But the movie shows you walking down the aisle, but it never shows you what happens after they walk down the aisle. We don't see how hard it gets. It don't show you the hardships of staying committed in a devoted situation. It shows you how it looks for the moment. Because a lot of us are momentary people. We so caught up in the moment to the point where we don't realize that this moment could affect us in the long term. When you can't make conscious decisions in your moments, you ultimately stay in a momentary situation for way too long. This is why you have the term called situationship. You have people who are more situationships than they are in relationships. And that's the narrative. You in a whole situationship wondering why you can't find a relationship because you're spending too much of your energy and your time and your effort on a situationship. And the sad part is the person that got you in a situationship is benefiting from you as if y'all in a relationship, but yet and still don't have the commitment of a relationship. Damn. Diabolical. This is what we don't talk about, guys. I'm scared of what my children will be facing. Because a lot of times people say, your daughter has to find a man that can love her for her. But here's the question. I'm scared my daughter is going to run into somebody's dusty little son who doesn't even know how to be a man and ultimately want her to commit or submit to him. And he didn't even commit or submit to himself. He wants you to follow him to somewhere he's never been. See, one thing about a woman, and I love to say this about my women are smart. A woman will follow you when you have a real plan. A woman will allow you to lead when you become a leader. A woman is not going to fool herself in a moment and follow someone that's a fool. A woman will say, "Your daddy, I love you, and you doing it good," but after the sex is over, she's going to say, "I am good." You thought I was dumb? What, she hit it with the ice spice? What? You thought I was feeling you? You thought I was feeling you? She's not feeling you like that, buddy. Every time I meet a man that tells me that women don't allow him to lead because I'm like, you're not a leader. Because naturally, women like to be led. And when a man's having a problem with leading a woman is because the fact that she doesn't see a leader. See, you can't falsify yourself into believing something that you're not. A woman sees what she sees. And there's nothing you can do to make her change what she sees. Once she sees what she sees, it is hard to change a woman's thought patterns of you. You done ran from a fight, and now you expect her to believe you tough. It ain't happening, buddy. Say it again. I don't want to go too far into that, right? But when you sit with people, you learn that culturally, people don't know what healthy relationships look like. So they stay in situationships, ultimately never elevating themselves. It is sad when you have someone, and I don't want nobody to get offended by this. When you take a 50-year-old person, whether male or female, and they say, "I haven't found the right person," I think you're about to meet him. It's called God. No, think about that statement. I haven't found the right person. I'm going to tell y'all something. Keep waiting for the perfect person, and you'll see that you are never the perfect person for the unperfect person. Let me say that one more time for somebody to hear me good, because somebody's going to get offended, but I love to offend. Because I offend with the truth, right? For a 50-year-old person, a 40-year-old person to say, I haven't found the right person, and you've been in situationships, and you've been in relationships. Sometimes in order for you to get the perfect person, you got to work on becoming the perfect person. You got to work on self. Because 9 out of 10 times, you don't attract what you say, you attract who you are. So if you are a broken person, you're going to attract a broken person. You cannot heal a wound with a Band-Aid that needs surgery. And a lot of us are suffering from mental illness, traumas, generational trauma, curse that we didn't choose to have, but we inherit. Hyperaggression comes from a very hyper-aggressive parent. Frustration, aggravation, because you watch movies on how to date. So therefore you date as if you're in a movie. And the movie will never have the happy ending because naturally any healthy relationships comes with problems, ups, downs, lefts, and damn sure rights. But if you sitting there thinking you're right, when you're the one that's always making the relationship go left, then you the goddamn problem. There's a lot of people in the world dating, looking for something that don't even exist. I had a woman describe a man to me the other day. And I said, the day you find him, I want to be friends with him. Look, guys, she described a man I have never met in my life. And I said, damn, I want to be BFFs with him. He got a 6-pack, 6 figures, 6 foot tall, respectful, know God, go to church, committed to her, don't got no kids, right? Owns his own home, right? Drives a foreign vehicle, can travel and fly her out whenever he wants. I'm just listening and listening and listening. I said, I know who you looking for. I seen him the other day. She said, who? His name is God. His name is God. I think we in such relationships today looking for things that don't even exist. I think the perfect relationship is two people working together to build, to elevate, to grow. You know the saddest thing, and I want to say this on record, somebody gonna get mad at this? It's sad when people think they're gonna get something that don't even exist, meaning something they're not even worthy of. It's something that if you gave them, they couldn't even maintain. It's like a broke person wanting a foreign vehicle but can't afford the maintenance on a foreign vehicle. Listen to that statement. That's like a broke person in a foreign vehicle, right? Who can't afford they can't afford the foreign vehicle. Yeah, so they want the foreign vehicle and they know they can't afford it. Think about that statement. You want a foreign vehicle and you know you can't afford the foreign vehicle. So what happens when the foreign vehicle breaks down? The car goes to trash. But that's the same thing as a person that's not healthy getting in a healthy relationship. You want a healthy relationship and you're not healthy yourself. Ultimately, as soon as you have problems, the unhealthy person is going to affect the healthy person. Naturally, it is more proven that humans will affect the room rather than changing the room. It is better that you change the room you in than try to change the room you in. Watch the narrative. Imagine sitting in a room full of people that have a bad mentality. It is easier for you to get up and remove yourself from that room, but we'd rather stay in that room trying to change the room, ultimately being changed by the room. Damn. Y'all don't hear me? Because again, the way we think about relationships is wrong. Healthy relationships are built on a foundation of mutual respect. Listen to the term, it's called mutual. Most people don't even understand what mutual respect look like. It's respect me, but I'm not gonna respect you. It's do as I say, but don't do as you do. Healthy relationships are built off of a healthy foundation and mutual respect, trust and open communication. If I can't communicate with you, that means I'm talking to myself. And 9 out of 10 relationships in today's society, we talk at each other opposed to talk to each other. So guess what? I'm not hearing you because you're not hearing me. Guess what? Your words don't resonate because of the fact that I don't feel you respect me. In order to get respect, you got to give respect. And if you can't give respect, you will not get respect. We talking logical, guys. We're humans. The creatures of habit. But we don't want to identify our issues, but we want to point out the issues with others. Because 9 out of 10 times when people always point out your issues and not their own issues, it's because they're uncomfortable with their own issues. It's easy for me to see what's wrong with you, but it's harder to see what's wrong with me. It is easy for me to tell you what's wrong with you, but it's harder for you to tell me what's wrong with me. You know the level of comfort you have to be able to sit in a room and be a mirror sitting on you and showing you everything that's wrong with you. You know how confident and comfortable you have? If a person can do that, they can change their life. Imagine sitting in a room, and the whole room is doing something called, what is that again? When you bring everybody together, they want to talk to you? An intervention. Imagine they have an intervention is all about you. And you can't deflect. Most people, they deflect. I'm going to tell you how they deflect. If you ask somebody, you say, yo, I got to tell you something you did bother me. They're going to bring up something from before or something to accommodate their excuse to their behavior. And this is a natural reaction for most humans today. Most humans can't sit in a room long enough to feel the heat. Allow yourself to stay in that sauna and sweat. That sauna full of people telling you about yourself. That sauna full of that heat that's on that behind. You know why? Because if you stay in there long enough, you start burning germs. You start sweating out toxins. And that's what a lot of us need to do. Sit in that sauna, right, with that heat around your friends telling you about yourself. A lot of people ain't gonna do that. No. It's easier to see what's wrong with others than to see what's wrong with ourselves. Being truthful to yourself means living by your own values and beliefs, right? And not worrying about what others think, right? It's in I'm doing this. One of y'all, right? Let me say this again. Being truthful to yourself means living by your own values and beliefs, right? And not worrying about what others think. It's an ongoing journey that involves self-honesty and self-acceptance. It is sad when someone can't even accept themselves. You ever know somebody that was limited with the way what they could do, but yet and still they don't want to accept that they have limits? Every human has limits. Every human has problems. Every human has issues. Every human is not perfect. We're looking for perfection. You want the perfect mate without being the perfect mate. 1 minute you'll say you're not perfect, but yet and still, if you sit with that person that said they're not perfect, they'll tell you they want somebody perfect. What the hell does that make sense? Listen to that again. Damn. Listen to that. I know I'm not perfect, but I expect somebody to take my imperfect behind, but they got to be perfect. If you ain't the level of narcissism that is extreme, I don't know what the hell you are. Listen to that statement. When you listen to it, it sounds crazy. Listen to this again. I'm going to say it one more time. You will admit you're not perfect, but yet and still you want somebody that's perfect. Your mother and father are first cousins. They're first cousins because you have to have a different level of slow that don't even make sense. That is crazy as hell. I know I'm not perfect, but I want somebody that's perfect to accept my imperfect behind. You a narcissist. Good.
How do you feel about, so there's women out here, I know I've dealt with a few particularly, they'll tell you I'm not being a wife until you like prove it to me, or they're not going to be soft to you. Like, you know how they be like soft Guerrero, but it has to be a certain standard for them to be soft. Doesn't that mean you're just not soft or wifey material in general?
Listen, I'm going to ask you a question. Before you get off this mic, I want you to answer this. Have you ever seen somebody start a job and said, until you hire me full-time, I'm going to start working hard?
No.
So the same statement you just said, listen to that again. If I start a job and I tell you I'm going to work hard when you give me the amount of money I want first, right? When you start a job, aren't you auditioning for the next level, right? Yes. That's the same thing with a relationship is. You come out, put it all on the table from the beginning, so therefore that person know that y'all serious. But if you're not doing that, that means you want me to accommodate you. You're not in yourself. You're too tough. Yo, man, I'm going to tell y'all something, ladies. There are people that are just not for you, and you just have to accept it. When a person tells you who you are, who they are rather, is on you to believe it. The worst thing you can do is lie to yourself about something that's potential that's faulty. Faulty potential is when you believe that something is in something or somebody they don't even see in themselves. That's faulty potential. I told you, if a woman's dating a guy, he stays at home because he lost his job, but he's out there every day hustling and busting looking for a job. That man is every bit of has potential. But if a man is laying there playing video games all goddamn, if it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it's a goddamn duck. Damn. Listen to that logic. When a man, ladies, giving you a gem, and you choose to listen, you choose to listen. When a man has potential, a man is not going to have to be told to keep chasing his best version of self. You'll see that man doing things that's showing you effort. Effort is the most key component to becoming successful. Effort is even when things are not going the way you want, you still go hard. Effort is, I don't want the bigger, let's say you go out to eat with your girl, right? And men, y'all better hear this too. You go out to eat with a girl, ladies, you go out to eat with your man. Let's say the roles are either way. The lady's treating or the man is treating. When you're sitting with someone that's sitting across from you and they want the most expensive goddamn thing on the menu, but if they was paying, they wouldn't get the most expensive thing on the menu, that is a trash bucket. Trash. Listen to that statement. If she was paying, she would be very selective with what she's eating. But the fact that you're paying, she's want the most expensive thing on the menu? You better run. I'm telling you from that, you better run. Ladies, if you go out to eat with a guy and you say, hey, I'm a treat. Now magically he getting apps, he getting a full course entree, he getting dessert, and he taking something home. If he does that, it says what you're dealing with. Like I said, the only issue with culture is that we don't want to accept who people show you they are. Because we believe that we are Dr. Phil, Oprah Winfrey, and we can change people. But I'm going to tell you something. The hardest thing in life is being honest with yourself. I'm not going to fight with someone for being who they are. I'm going to be grateful that the person showed me who they are. But then you have to ask yourself, I don't want to hear you 10 years from now talk about he don't pay bills. It's been like that for 10 years. I don't want to hear you tell me your woman is not submissive when she's never been submissive. We talking logic, guys. Okay. Hold on.
All right, quick question. Do you feel that we're not dating people based off potential and we're just dating pretty much the finished product nowadays?
No, what we have to identify what is potential. Right? Potential, by definition, I want somebody to pull up the definition of potential. Pull up the definition. Tyler, pull it up. Let me read off your phone. Right, I'm going to give you all the exact definition of potential. Right? I think we create words to fit what we want, but we don't accept what the word actually means. Potential, right? Having or showing the capacity to become or develop into something in the future. That's by definition. A dude sitting at home playing 2K all day ain't doing that. He's shown that he has the potential to get a 99 overall on his My Player. That's about it. So again, I'm going to read this one more time. Having or showing the capacity to become or develop into something in the future. Let me say this again. Ladies and gentlemen, what we do with potential is we pour into what we believe someone could be rather than what they believe they can be. You cannot tell me that this person can be this when they're working at a level like this. That is not potential. That is faulty. So therefore, you'll be mad at the fact that it doesn't pan out, but in reality, the person never believed what you believed. You saw yourself through their lens. So if I'm looking at you, I'm like, damn, if I was in a situation, I would do this. So when you're in that situation, you start thinking like what you would do. So you can build yourself a faulty potential in that person. You be like, yo, if I was in this position, oh my God, I would take advantage. I'll go back to school. I'll get my life together. That's what you would do. But what they would do is exactly why they're in the position they are today. So again, you can create faulty potential. And that's what a lot of people do. Then I need you to say something, right? It said manifest your partner's potential. I hear you. I ain't doing that. Once you get to a certain age, you can look at people and know exactly who they are. So when you sit down with people, you be like, wait, is it him or is it you? Is it her or is it you? You got to be able to tell yourself the truth. And again, I'm not sitting here talking about if a person helped you get yourself to an apartment, they did a lot. Every person cannot be rich. Let's establish that. Every person cannot be rich. But me and my mate should build a level of comfort that we both feel comfortable, right? If one day you wake up one day and you say, you know what, you want to be a billionaire, and your girl is comfortable with helping you get into the 100,000 there, she did her role. Now you might have to take yourself to the next level. But as far as her helping you sustain where you are, she's done a great job, right? When you're in a healthy relationship, it's two people that know their roles. Anytime someone goes outside their role, usually you fail. Today I was talking to a couple and the lady seems to be the better leader. The man had to accept the fact that she's a better leader. In her mind, she wants a very bigger leader than her. But naturally, very masculine men are attracted to very feminine energy. So a masculine man won't look for a woman that's like that. A masculine man won't look for Aurora. He's going to look for someone that pours into his masculine energy, suppressing that lion sometimes. She knows how to bring him from here to here. But if you with someone that's here, right, and their aggression is here, and your aggression is here, oh my God, that household's gonna be dangerous. Dangerous. Battle Royale. Diabolical. That's my new words. Listen, but you see it in reality, right? While the pursuit of perfection can be admirable, embracing imperfection And focusing on progress over perfection is often more beneficial for personal growth, well-being, and achieve lasting success. Listen to that statement. Right? When a person is in a relationship and you overly looking at their flaws, you'll never see the level that you already built. Do you hear me? Listen to that statement. When you're in a relationship and you overly admiring and staring at the perfection of the person, you don't see the stages that y'all have made together because you're too focused on a level that may not even exist. I've met people leave people who's gotten to level, let's say 5 out of 10 together. Go by themselves and stay at a level 2. And you know what they'll say? I ain't going 50-50 with nobody. But you out here dying and struggling doing 100%. Diabolical. Damn. I don't know where people come with this logic, but I think people's mentality is so warped from reality because they're social media driven to the point they can't even see that they're not thinking regular. Some people believe that they're deserving of things that don't even exist. I listen to people say, oh my God, Tasha and Mike's relationship is so amazing. But if you was to fly on the wall on Tasha's Mike home, you'll see that they're not perfect. They're good at showing what they want you to see, but in reality, they have their problems and they just know how to work it out. Tasha and Mike have gotten to a level where they learned how to keep their private life private. So anytime you see a relationship that looks so good, it's because they're good at making sure that you only see but so much of their relationship. That sounds healthy. The more bodies in the room, the tighter the room will be. The more bodies in the room, the more tighter the room will be. So it's better that they keep people out of their room so the relationship won't be so tight. Imagine walking around somebody every day and you know they know everything about you because your woman got a big mouth. You know how toxic that is? You know how toxic it is? I'm going to tell you why it's toxic, because 9 out of 10 times, that woman is going to tell you from her lens, ultimately making you look like a fool. She's not going to tell you what she do wrong. 9 out of 10 people tell a story as a victim. They don't tell a story to be all the way factual. So therefore, you're creating a hate towards this person, not realizing that there's 3 sides to every story. His, hers, and the truth. His, hers, and the truth. Say it again. His, hers, and the truth. But if your friend comes to you with their premise of he did this, or your homeboy goes to she did this, you're going to automatically take your friend's side. And then you're going to build first anger towards or resentment towards this person. And now when this person come in a room, you wonder why you get them funny looks. Because your woman mouth or your man mouth might be a little too big. You don't only pillow talk with your mate, you can pillow talk with your friends too. Pillow talk is when conversations go from the bedroom into society where it shouldn't go past your bedroom. That's the term pillow talk. Pillow talk is when certain things are being said over you and your woman, right? I tell you something, my woman will never, ever, ever in a million years know what my best friends and my friends are going through. It ain't none of her business. Because the day he got in a relationship with me as a friend, he did not get in a friendship with them. Your business between you and your friends should stay. I don't want to get in my woman's business about her friends. If she chooses to vent, that's on her. But I'm not asking. So then what happened at your job today? And what did Michelle do? And did Tasha do that? You sound a little weird to me, fam. You sound a little different. Sound like you might be undercover. Way under the covers. But again, it's irrelevant. I'm just saying as a man, you shouldn't even be caring about those things. And if your woman chooses to vent, that's women, they're emotional. So therefore, emotions make you emotional. Make you irate, makes you make poor decisions because that's emotion. We can't complain about women being women when women are naturally women. Women are emotional. And if a man can't accept that, then he needs to go to the opposite sex or the same sex. Because you have to learn how to deal with the opposite sex in order to maintain a healthy relationship. Again, I can't complain what a woman is when I know what a woman is, but I'm complaining what a woman is, thinking I'm going to change what a woman is. That don't even make no sense. Listen, I'm going to say this again. I'm going to complain about what a woman is, thinking I'm going to change what a woman is, and then be mad at the fact that a woman is what a woman is. But in reality, I'm never going to change what a woman is because a woman is naturally always going to be a woman. Ladies, I'm going to change what this man is rather than let me learn how a man thinks. Men, I'm going to change what a woman is rather than let me learn what a woman is, right? And this is what we don't want to see. If you want to create a healthy relationship, the healthiest relationship is one who understands the opposite sex. I am not a woman, but I've learned how to understand women, where my communication with a woman makes sense because of the fact that I'm learning why she's the way she is based on her feelings. Feelings make you impulsive. A lot of the times women say things they don't even mean because they're in their feelings. So if you're an emotional man, you have to build your security being with a woman. I'm not going to get mad at a man and say, oh my gosh, she called me out of my name. I think most men in relationships have been called out their name. Because I'm going to tell y'all why. And I want y'all to hear this good. A woman cannot physically beat a man in most cases. But she can verbally beat you if you allow her words to affect you. So as a man, you have to build your level of security. And I'm not justifying a woman's mouth. It's not what I'm doing. But I'm just telling you logic. When a person's in his feelings 9 out of 10 times, even as a man, guys, you have no self-control. So imagine a woman who's really emotional. You ever met a very emotional guy? It's kind of scary, right? I dealt with one the other day. He asked me my opinion about something. As soon as I started stating my opinion, he kept fighting with me. I told him, get out of my face. He said, what you mean, get out of your face? I said, brother, you came to ask me a question, and the fact that it's not going the way you want to hear, you're making me feel little or less than because I'm not in agreement with you. When you ask a question, you got to be willing to deal with the answer. Let me say that again. When you ask a question to someone that's secure, you got to be ready to receive the answer for the person that's secure. She's going to give it to you exactly what they feel, not what they think you want to hear. Anybody that does that, you are the worst friend on earth. If you run around here telling everybody what they want to hear, knowing it's wrong, when you know your girlfriend, ladies, I'm going to say this, y'all going to get mad, I don't give a damn. When your homegirl come out to the club with y'all and she wearing something, she a bigger girl and you know she shouldn't be wearing that, and you like, get him, girl, you are diabolical. You are the worst friend on earth. Oh my God. You're doing her this harm. Because while you're sitting there trying to build up her confidence, you should tell her that's just not for you. It's okay. If I go out with my homeboys and I know he's shooting at a girl that is a little bit too much for him, I'm going to tell him, yo, fam, her expectations are a little too high. I don't think you can hit that level, fam. And there's nothing wrong with that. You have to just be honest with yourself. Once people get back like that, the world will get back to a better place. No one is dissing you by telling you the truth. If you're heavy and someone telling you you're heavy, it's not dissing you. It's called the truth. If I got a homeboy that's a little slow, I'm not giving him the hardest book to read. I'm just being fair to him. Let me say that again. If I have a homeboy that's not that intelligent, I'm not going to give him the encyclopedia to read because I know that's just not for him. But again, teach them at their level. And that's what we don't do. It's levels to life, no matter how you slice it. But some people want to skip the steps of life, ultimately never get into anywhere because they're trying to skip steps. Our culture is so sick. Sick. I'm watching the most loneliest people online talk about how they don't need nobody. And when they go home, they got all the rabbits and the butterflies and the roses, all of those little toys that you can imagine. Listen to that statement. Sister, you do need somebody. Brother, you do need somebody. Like, come on. It is sad. I'm so over it. Like, yo, it sounds crazy. I'm going to say this on record. Black culture is one of the brokest cultures in America, and we don't want to work together. We're one of the brokest cultures, but still arguing about how we don't need each other. Yes, the hell you do. And a lot of these women that talk hot, you want EBT, which is welfare. Welfare is the daddy in your home. It's just the truth. But people that take this personal is because they don't want to hear truth. I don't want to lie to my culture in order to get views and clicks. I don't give a damn. If someone chooses not to subscribe to what I'm talking, I don't care. A narcissist feel like everyone has to be in line with them. I don't care about everyone being in line with me. If you disagree with me, God bless you. But at the end of the day, I'm going to still voice my opinion. And right now, culturally, we are suffering because of the fact that we don't realize that we need each other. I'm going to say what it is. And someone's going to get upset. Oh my God, he's hurting my feelings. And you got men that sound like that. Very emotional. You judging another man. I did a video about one of my friends borrowing money while he was on vacation. One of the guys wrote, it's sad, right, that you're telling a man about himself rather than just lend him the money. The whole premise of me blowing him up wasn't about putting his business out there, because I would have put a name on it. But the reason why I didn't say that is because I'm like, brother, it's about teaching a lesson that you shouldn't be in a position borrowing money and you're on vacation. But again, we don't believe in constructive criticism. We don't believe in that. We believe in criticism as long as it's not constructive. Let me say that again. We believe in criticism as long as it's not constructive. We believe in coddling. We believe in holding hands to walk across the street when the light is red and it allows you and it says walk. This is what we do. So I'm going to ask you a question. Do we really need each other? FAN, Leash. Put it in. Right? But again, you cannot fix what you can't identify to be wrong. And as long as we don't identify what's wrong, we're going to continue to be wrong. I don't feel sorry, and I'm going to say this on record, I don't give a damn who get mad, to someone that's been in a long-term relationship with someone and they can't afford to leave. I don't feel sorry for you. Because all those years of you being in that long-term relationship, you should have been working on affording to leave. You shouldn't be in a relationship where you can't afford to even hold your own as an adult. What makes an adult is one who can take care of himself. So again, if a person is in a position where they can't afford to take care of themselves, that means you're not an adult. You're a child. So again, when you listen to people be like, I would leave him, but I can't afford it. I'm like, that's a sad situation. That is sad. Because you should have put yourself in a position where you could afford to leave yourself. I'm just going to call it what it is. But again, if I say this, I'm the supervillain. And what makes me the supervillain is the truth. Right? But again, someone call in right now, 516-253-1150. One more time, 516-253-1150. I don't hate my culture. I hate the things we do as a culture. Someone asked me this question today, and I want someone to call in right now to answer this question for me. What is black culture? I got a lady get mad at me the other day because I said, right? She said to me the other day, she said, hip-hop is the black culture. No, hip-hop is a part of black culture. It's not the culture. It's a part of the culture, right? Someone call in right now, 516-253-1150. Let's talk about it. I'm going to address something. The meaning of loneliness. The meaning of loneliness, all right? And I want y'all to hear this good. There are a lot of people that are lonely as hell, but they'll say, I'm good doing this thing by myself. But every time them bills come, mad as hell at the world. Yo, live with a person, right? Be the son or the daughter of a person that's single and listen to what they say when they get mad. See if they really sound like they happy being alone. Miserable, right? Miserable, right? Loneliness is a state of emotion. Discomfort, right? Characterized by feelings of isolation, lack of connection, and a sense of being alone. There are a lot of people right now who will never admit that they're lonely as hell. Lonely. Listen, my sisters and brothers, those single trips only last but so long. Of course you're in a third world country getting third world vagina and penis because of the fact that these people don't have anything. And if they had, they wouldn't even look your way. That goes for men and women. Again, you go into a third world country to get a third world vagina and penis thinking that that's lit because of the fact that you can't get that same relationship treatment here. You wouldn't have to fly out to look for something if you already knew who you was because you would be attracting exactly what you are. And that's what people don't like. Yo, in Jamaica, we got something called rent-a-dread. Yeah, look it up and see if it's real. You can go rent a whole yardie for the whole time you're in Jamaica. You can rent them. Man, y'all, listen, we gonna call it what it is. Man, y'all flying out to DR, Brazil, Colombia, all of these countries doing the same thing. You think, oh, she washed my dishes, she do, because you're paying her. If you paid your wife, I think she would do the same thing. Let me ask a woman, come here, Vivian. Come here, Viv. Come over here for 1 second, Viv. I wanna ask you something as a woman, Viv. Give Viv the mic. Viv, if you're married, right?
Yes.
And your husband pays you to cook, clean, wash dishes, wash his drawers and everything, would you do it?
I sure would.
I think any woman would do that. So when they be talking about, oh, I go to DR and get these girls, I'm like, of course you're getting them because you're paying them, right? Someone said washing dishes should come down. I'm just using it as an example of explaining how people brag about things because of the fact that they're using the third world country. There's a woman right now who's not that attractive, who's in one of them islands right now getting a lot of attention because he's looking for something called a green card or a visa. She's not attractive, but he's like, you know what, I'm gonna entertain you, right, because of the fact that you can get me to the US. And this is how we think. We think weird. Guys and ladies and gentlemen, stop thinking your algorithm on dating apps and your algorithm on social media is real. 90% of the men, ladies, that's in your DM, they looking for sex. Right? They looking for sex. Right? And that's the truth. Someone gonna be like, not me. He want me. I'm like, yeah, wait till you entertain him and then you'll see. Go ahead.
It's crazy because you'll see a girl, she'll post her whole body like naked. Not naked, but she'll post her whole body. And honestly, as a man, we sliding in the DM for one thing and one thing only, and it's the truth.
So let me ask you a question. You know, it's got a good comeback. When a man shows a fancy car, he shows that he got money. He looks fly, but he's really broke. Is he thirst trapping?
100%.
So a woman that dressed half naked and she's trying to look sexy, what is she doing?
Thirst trapping as well.
Damn. It's that simple. But when you have a broken culture, you're going to always see why people are broken. They're diabolical. They don't think, right? We are a sick culture. I'm watching social media procreate sick mentalities. Ladies, and y'all going to take this personal, and I'm going to say this on record, right? Most men, hear it in the headphones. Right? Most men do not value another man's kids. Why are you looking around the room? Do you? So why are you looking around the room? We telling the truth. Most men that are established, that cares about their career, that cares about their success, they're looking to create their own legacy. They do not view another man's legacy as being their legacy. When a man is focused on his life, his career, and he's focused on the percentage of men that these women all talk about they want, those men are very strategical. They're very conscious of their decisions, right? We're not talking about NBA players who are corny growing up and they got they got an NBA deal and now they think they lit, but it was corny as hell growing up. We're not talking about an athlete that it was corny, but all he could do is catch a pass. We're not talking about those guys. We're talking about regular guys who literally built themselves up in the tech world, in the corporate world. They're more conscious of who they choose as a mate because now you're walking into rooms where you represent the person that you're standing next to. You think a man who's built himself up is arguing with a woman about what she's not doing as a woman, he's not gonna waste his time. He's gonna notice it's something called when you go to a hotel and you pay for the 3-hour short stay. They put you in that position real fast. But if you say that as a man, someone will take that personal, right? Someone said not all men think that a daddy raised 2 children that was not his. I'm gonna say this on record. The kind of men that y'all want is not those guys. I'm not sitting here saying, ladies, and I just want y'all to hear this because someone gonna take this personal. I don't think that I'm not saying that a woman can't find a man with kids, right? But I'm telling y'all all getting in line for the same type of guy, the 6-figure guy. Most of those girls that find men, right, that take on their children, in most cases are men that aren't super financially gurus, right? They're guys that want to build with you. And that makes more sense. But if you tell a woman that, she's going to be like, well, I'm going to tell you something. Call him right now, Brittany. I want to hear this. Brittany J, call him right now. 516-253. She said I'm moving the goalposts. 516-253-1150. Listen, I'm saying this again. For me to sit here as a man telling you that a woman with a child can't get a man, that's crazy. I would never say no crap like that, right? But I'm just saying that the type of men that these women be saying they're looking for is not going to take on you and your 3 children. He's not going to see you that way, right? And it's not a bad thing. What you should be doing as a woman with children is finding someone that will love you and the children the same. And now we're talking more logical. And make sure that man you choosing, he don't need you. Of course he's going to play stepdaddy when you allow him to move into your place. He's going to play stepdaddy because he needs somewhere to live. That's why he playing stepdaddy. He's going to be like, hey, little man, come give me a hug. Because he needs somewhere to, a room, because he ain't got nowhere to live. Because he's a bum. Damn. But if you say that, someone creates a lie to accommodate a sick mentality. Ladies, dating someone, right, should be more about what we can do together than what you can do for me. Any woman that has that mentality is more inclined to be in a relationship than a woman that doesn't. Every time a man that's about his stuff meets a woman, and please stop looking at celebrities. Y'all be working as bus matrons and Target workers and sales associates at stores, and y'all look at celebrities. That is crazy. Hey, yo, if your standard of life is comparing yourself to a celebrity, you are sick. You're sick. Again, if you're looking at celebrities, well, Jay-Z bought Beyonce a yacht. Your whole family can't come together and buy a yacht. Damn. It's just sick at this point. When you're a regular person who watches what celebrities do and think that you're in the position of the celebrity, you shouldn't be thinking like that until you get to the position of a celebrity. You got people who haven't even broke the $10,000 status, worrying about what a $20 million person was doing. I think you need to start worrying about what the $100,000 person doing or the $10,000 person doing so you can get to the $10,000 level. It's sick when you see people think like that. And I'm not dissing nobody, I'm just raising truth. If you are a person that don't think like that, I will hate to see you in 10 years. You're going to be broke as hell crying about your life. That man Drake said a line and I love it. This is the one line I love he said. He said, I see who you checking for now. He said, but let's see where you at a decade from now. And when you see these people who think like that, let's see where they are a decade from now. We're going to have our little young men and women talking about how they don't need each other, getting old and having no net worth and nothing going for themselves. They say, I want everybody on my live to Google this to see if I'm capping right now. Yes. They say blacks in America will have a net worth of 0 by 2053. 0. Boom. So what are we doing here? Wasting time. Oh, he flew me out, but you went right back to the projects. He flew me out, but you went right back to a basement. Yo, I'm asking y'all a question on my live. Would you rather a great home or travel the world every day? A great living situation or always traveling? What would you rather? What would you care for? So you said great home, you said great home? What you got? Pass the mic around, let's hear it. I want everybody to hear this. Let's start this again. What would you rather, a great living situation or being able to fly out all the time?
Great living situation. The only way I'm flying out all the time is if I have money in abundance, a lot of wealth, where I'm able to live that life.
I go for it. I agree with it. Go ahead.
Great living situation.
Great living situation.
Great living situation.
I think it makes more sense. Because look, when you look at social media, right, financial stability, I think that is more extreme than anything. You know how you know that social media really plays a major part of the way people think? People think that they men and women are trash if they don't get them special gifts on holidays. Look at this statement. How many days is in a year? 365, right? Let's just say hypothetically there's 5 important holidays of the year. So that makes us 360. There's 12 months in a year. That means there's 12 either rent or mortgage payments every year, right? 12. Every month you got to pay a bill. So we're going to say, to hell with what you do every day for us. I value more the holidays because I'm worried about what social media see you doing for me on holidays. You are every bit of sick there is. Sick. Sick. You think I give a damn about what somebody see me giving somebody on a holiday when you killing yourself to put your family in a better position? And that's what people can't realize. We are a culture of people who are so captivated by looking like we do it better than people, and that's all we care about. People pretend to be doing good so long that they forget to actually start doing good. They forget. Oh my God. As soon as you go to the restaurant, what they do? Take out their phone and do what? Videotape their food? I used to record artists in the studio. You know why I don't like even doing it anymore? It's because every time you would do it, they gotta smoke for 90% of the session. You know why? Because they seen rappers do it, talking about, I'm releasing my creative juices. It's sick. Social media give you a lens to watch the nonsense that you want to watch, to the point where you get stuck watching what you want to watch, that you forget to watch what you need to be watching. Your algorithm don't force you the things you need to learn. Financial literacy is not going to be taught to you because of the fact that you have a conversation about it. You got to start watching the videos that's teaching it, and not the ones that's capping, talking about, I'll show you how to get rich overnight. The next night, guess what? You're still broke. The following night, guess what? You are still broke. The following night you are, guess what? Still broke. And you know what you did? You bought a program that showed you how to get broker. You bought a course that was all about capping. I'm going to tell y'all something, and it's someone that don't understand this will never grow. If a woman you don't see as valuable as a man, then you're a fool. And if a woman don't see a man as a value, she's a fool. Because a lot of times, I hate to say this, men and women look for relationships that don't even want them. Yo, we being honest on live, guys. Nobody cap. You ever met somebody that described the mate they want, and you be looking at him like, I know he ain't gonna holler at you. You never got that? You ever got that, Viv, where your homegirl is describing a man? Oh, I want my, matter of fact, give it a mic. I want you to answer this. We telling the truth. You ever had a conversation with one of your homegirls? And she talk about the man she wants, and you be looking at her like, I don't think you're gonna get that. You never had that before?
I have, yeah.
How do you usually take it?
It depends on who the person is. I can't be 100% honest with them.
Some people, I don't think, me being honest, and I'm just being honest, I don't think most women can take constructive criticism lightly.
They can't.
Why is that, you think?
I don't know. They don't want to see self. Because I can. I'm teachable. So you can tell me about me, and I'm going to take that nugget away and see how I can work on myself.
I agree with that statement.
Most people can't. I don't know why.
It's because they're insecure, right? And that's what I've noticed in our culture. Insecurity is leading the forefront of the culture.
Yeah, but offense doesn't help you grow. When you're easily offended, you can't grow because you don't see yourself.
But if you think about it like this, if you take yourself, you put a gate around you, what happens?
You trapped in.
And that's what people are.
Right.
They put themselves behind a little gate,
Mm-hmm.
and they stay in a little world that they build, and they think that that's normal. But it's not.
It's not normal. And going back to being trapped in not having the ability to manage your money well is another reason why we're in this gate. And a lot of it is what we're taught or lack of knowledge.
But my question is this. My mother didn't teach me how to have sex, but I figured it out.
Right.
So if you really want to figure out something, can you?
Yes, you can, especially with today.
Okay.
Social media and everything being so accessible to us.
I agree 100%. See, guys, that's the issue when we talk about culture. Someone asked me, what is the black culture? I want somebody to answer it. Anybody got an idea? What is the black culture? I want somebody in my life to tell me, what is the black culture? I'm just curious. What is the black culture? I'm listening. What is the black culture? I'm curious myself. What are we calling the black culture? What is the black culture? What is the culture? Right? Someone said it's a reprogramming of the mindset. It is a reprogramming of the mindset. And a lot of people are so captivated, right? And don't say hip-hop, I agree. I agree. People think black culture is all hip-hop, right? Look, someone said I want to know too. Trends. But trends fade fast. I mean, your culture fades. See, that's what I'm trying to explain. Like, someone said, black what? What kind of, you got to be more in depth. You're just saying vague statements. That's like click words. Someone said black experiences. What is that? That's what I'm trying to say. When you have a culture that don't even know its own culture, then it's no culture. What is the culture? Before Christ is black culture. But that's what I'm trying to explain to you. Like, if we don't even know what we are, who are we? So you have a bunch of people that can't relate to each other because we don't even know who we are. It's like turning on the light and the roaches just scattering. We got to know and identify who we are. Because you can only project how you feel about yourself onto others. So when you see somebody, I remember one time, and I'll tell you a quick story. I saw this dude, I said, we should be some proud Africans. He said, I ain't no goddamn African. I said, damn, black man, I ain't no goddamn African. And I looked at him and I said, wow. I said, wow, you definitely don't even know yourself. Someone said resilience. I like that word. Yeah.
They got this new thing going on. I guess it's a trend or something called like FBA. So it's like I guess they're a cult of people who are, they call themselves Black Americans. So they're not African, and they basically beef with Africans. So they try to basically create a divide that Africans are not African Americans, like Black Americans aren't African. I don't know. It's weird to me, but what do you think about that?
I'm just saying that by acknowledging that your culture only started when you came to the Americas, I mean, you're erasing the whole history of yourself. Think about that statement. A lot of the names that we worship and walk around, Tomlinson, Brown, Andrews, these names are slave master names. When you had a name, or you were named after the plantation that you was on anyway. So when you look at a lot of these people, they only worshiping names that was only gifted to them by their slave master. So a lot of the times, even when you say that you only identifying that you started in the Americas, that means you erase all the history that came before you. And if you don't know who you are, then you'll be whoever they tell you are. I told you my favorite quote in the Harriet Tubman said, I would have freed more slaves if they knew they were what? If they knew they were slaves. But you're seeing a bunch of people right now who are oppressing each other don't realize that they should be working together. It is easier to create a broken mind when the culture is broken. It is easier to create division where there's already divided. It is easier to infiltrate any system that already has a hole in it. Water can only come into a place where there's a hole. And I don't care how little the hole is, right? With a drip every day, eventually you will have a flood. And what's going on right now is you have a culture of people who don't know who they are. You got men and women that say they want relationships like their grandparents, behaving like modern people today. They want traditional relationships behaving like modern people. One thing you got to acknowledge, ladies, is you talk about your grandmother was married and her husband took care of her, but he didn't see his daughter, he didn't see his damn wife half naked online either. He didn't see his wife half naked online. If you wanted to see his wife, he was the only one that had eyes for his wife. So therefore, you would have to lust over her by looking at her, not by what she was showing. Aesthetically, I can look at most women and be like, I already know what you look like naked. I seen it already, right? But that's the culture. There are men right now walking around pretending to have finances, knowing that you're feeding a mentality of women, a belief or a thought, right? And it's sad because we teach materialism to the point where women think that a man is more valuable based on how much money he makes, but not by how much respect he has, but not by how his mental compass is mature, right? Not by his integrity, not by his morals, but by how deep his pockets is. That's a goddamn shame, guys. And this is the culture. So I'm asking guys, do we really need each other? Do we need each other? But again, when I say where there's separation, there will always be someone to take advantage of the separation. If I come into your house, right, and you and your woman is not united, I can infiltrate your home, right? And this is what I think we don't think about. We got to learn how to start working together. Someone call in right now before we get out of here today. I need a call in. Someone call in right now. 516-253-1150. One more time, 516-253-1150. Listen, he might be broke. I don't know. His mentality might be broken. Yeah, but again, he could be trolling. But again, I think most people are broke. And I always say this statement. If there is no family, there is no wealth building. You can't start at the back of the race, not working together to get to the front of the race. If black people don't control, right, any economical situations, whether infrastructure, we have to control something. If we don't control nothing, we will never have nothing. Again, you have a culture of people fighting against each other, saying that this is the culture. Look at how easily we infiltrated. The moment someone online talks about one of our people, we jump the gun and talk about them also. We don't even get the benefit of the doubt. They say it's guilty until proven innocent. Well, in my culture, I'm going to say this, you're guilty until, they say it's innocent until proven guilty. That's what it's supposed to be, right? In our culture, you're guilty until proven innocent. Because most people that are sick in their mentality want to hear bad about others. A lot of people aren't happy with themselves. So therefore, they cannot see another person happy. It is hard to be happy when you're not happy. It is hard to see greatness in something when you don't see greatness in yourself. Because if you go to a small-minded person and tell them a big idea, the idea becomes smaller. You bugging. I don't think you can do that. You're wasting your time. We talk about how great of a culture we come from, right, Talia? We talk about how great of a culture we come from. But yet and still, we do not demonstrate the same things that we come from. I think anything that happened in this country of a significance is because we work together. But if you take two people who are constantly not working together, you're going to realize that you didn't build anything. And black people, we're losing because we genuinely don't believe we need each other. I had to tell a lady today, right? She said to me, right, when you listen to people, and I want you to hear this good, guys. If you know that you're a very, very, very strong woman, I don't think you're going to find a man that's going to be stronger than you, that's going to be interested in you. Most aggressive people, they usually end up with someone that's not aggressive, to give them something called a balance, right? But if you're dating someone, talking about, I'm a super alpha woman, he gonna have to over alpha me. I'm like, sister, you're gonna die alone with that mentality. Because no one wants that. Imagine starting a job, trying to fight for a position that you already feel that you deserve. Who would sign up for that? They're gonna start looking for a job that values them. Imagine walking into a job every day, Tyler, and they don't value you. Eventually, you're gonna find your way out. And that's the same thing as our relationships. Someone eventually is gonna leave. And again, if you say you would sign up for that, you're lying to yourself. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you sit back and evaluate the fact that men and women don't believe we need each other, I think because you feel like you don't have the value. Because a person that values himself ultimately look at a situation as what I can bring to the table. A person with no value ultimately look for a table that's already made. Because it says a lot about you when you walk into a space where you don't realize that I'm not going to have nobody talk about me because I'm bringing something to the table. But when you want the table already made, you're a goddamn child. Because only children sit there and wait to be fed. But adults should be feeding themselves. But again, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to build any wealth until we fix our culture. So when a man thinks he don't need a woman, I tell him he's a fool. And when a woman thinks she don't need a man, I tell her that she's a fool. Because when you look at the fact of the matter, statistics do not show in the favor of single people. Most married people own homes. More married people retire. More married people are more financially secure. More married people raise healthier children. This is not my opinion. If you are the exception to the rule, don't make you the standard. Because if I meet your kids, I'll be like, yeah, you can kind of tell your son might be hypersensitive, ladies, when you have come from a single mother. A lot of women that raise sons, right? And I want you to hear this, Vivian. Most women that raise sons single, they will never date the son they raised. Never date him. And I'm going to say this again. Most women that are single raise sons they will never date. And they will never date him. They do not see him as a man. But again, with coddling, you're creating a mentality of needing. But with teaching, you created a mentality of go-getting. So if you're dating someone right now that's constantly looking for what you can do for them, then you might as well date your child. Till next time, guys, don't let that go over your head.